Alright, I'm doing the marker rendering on the Insecticon commission here. The lines are just pretty much a dead weight line. I don't worry about line weights at this point because I want the finished product to have darker lines. So the markers kind of wash it out. So I'll leave it to the last stage. Here I've got a cool gray marker or a couple cool gray markers going on at first because the colors will be like purple. Any cool color like green, blue, purple kind of counts. I'll do a cool gray marker under painting, and for warmer colors, yellows, oranges, reds, I'll do a warm gray. What this lets me do is I'll worry about the lighting, the shading, the form, so the light's coming from the upper left-hand side. So I'll think about the planes at this stage where the light's coming and build up those darker colors and chunks, like any large, on this particular figure, like square area, build that up here, and then that lets me approach the color stage a little more simply because I can just do one or two passes of color on top, but all the value information is underneath. So you can build these values up pretty slowly. I'm only using, I think, 3 different shades of cool gray at this point in building it up. And once the marker dries and you go over it again, even with the same marker, it'll be a little bit darker. And there I've switched to the cool gray. And I've got a little bit, I think this is a C6 or 7, just to build up these really dark shadowy areas. And gives it a little bit more volume, makes it feel like the figure exists in three-dimensional space. All right, so in a minute I'm getting ready to switch to color, and since the arms and legs are purple, I'll get a purple marker. I'm mixing and matching markers. I think I've used the Copics, or the grays are Copics. Colors I switched between, one of the purple right here is a Winsor Newton lilac, which is a little bit lighter in shade than the Prismacolor lilac. But then I'll use a Prismacolor and some Copic colors here. But I'm staying pretty simple. I'm just building up the basically kind of a wash of color here, just kind of flat. And you can see the gray is kind of dictating how the shading and stuff from underneath. That's kind of a bluish greenish thing that laid over the light gray parts. And here I'm using a light walnut. This was kind of an experiment, but it worked out really well. Light walnut over top of what should have been like the dark gray gives a little more flavor. I'm letting some of the gray peek through too. I'm not even trying to get straight line edge to edge here. So, and then going back to after everything's dried, the light or the lilac, just to do like these little sheen to it, kind of reflections. Now here I'm going back over the lines and thinking about the line weights at this point, now that I'm done with the colors, and it's letting me build up a nice dark line on top of those colors. Alright, now I'm going to go back over the figure with just the black, I'm using the Faber-Castell Pitt pen, just to build up the line weights at this point, because it'll sit on top of the colors and be nice and dark. Doing an outline around the whole form and thinking about just where in space things sit and building up those lines. Some of the lines I won't go over if I want them to kind of sit back and be a little lighter, like some of the seams, lack of a better term, where like little plates meet or join together. I'll leave those a little bit lighter. So this is pretty much the next to last stage, darkening up the lines, just adding little nicks here and there. And the very last stage will be, I get it's a white, I think it's a Bic. It's a white pen, looks like a ballpoint pen. It's not white out, but it lets me get a nice fine line of white and add some weathering, which is actually kind of my favorite part of this because you're kind of at the end and you just at places where there's edges on the metal pieces, or maybe there's some friction and paint's worn off. Just think about that, like right here. Just makes it look like it's the figure's been around a while, has some weight, and exists and has existed in an environment. And around the legs and anywhere where there's a place to add a little neck, but don't overdo it. White is if you add too much, it takes away. You've got to have just be a little conservative with adding the white. All right, well, I think that's going to about do it for this piece for now. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and all that stuff, and I'll see you next time.